Welcome to the Limit Breaker Podcast, the show in which we break our limits.
Do you guys think Kawaki even has that horn state at this point? Does he need it?
He should have it.
If he doesn't use it next chapter, if he doesn't use it next chapter, and they're still getting pushed, that I think that just confirms he can't access it.
But the question would be why.
I mean,
I know what his
idea.
answer is gonna be, but that's not what the story's going.
Well, not like that he can't access it. More like Ikimoto doesn't want to use that form ever again, and like their apex is just gonna be like just karma.
I mean,
That would be.
That would be really lame and make no sense to me.
Yeah, I was about to say that too. That wouldn't make sense because that is a part of karma. His horn state.
It's literally just more power.
Yeah, it's just him delving into more power. And just
Even if the gap is smaller now, it's still more power.
Yeah.
Well, the reason why I kind of brought it up because they seem to be like integrating much closer now. Like they're flying. He can use Kokugan and base. So maybe like the integration reaches to such a degree to where the horn state isn't him diving deeper into power. That's just activation of karma or something akin to that concept.
What about Jigen? Why do you think he would go into a higher horn state in order to get more power if he's at like 100% Otsusuke with this karma still extraction or whatever?
Something as simple as like vessel compatibility or some kind of the whole like Karama Hima thing. What's the word they use with that? I forgot the word.
I think that if Kawaki can access all 8 Stokes of his eye, he wouldn't need the higher form. But that would be specifically for accessing his abilities. He might still be able to like go into the higher form to like get like a speed amp or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
In fact,
I mean, I'll make one argument that's not a real argument. It's only from a fan perspective. The other would just be actually in series. So the horn state is them using it's the karma's overlaying at its max capacity. It's like they're using the fullest extent of their Otsusuke's power is when the horn comes out, basically. So if he's not using the horn, it would be weird for him to have been using the full power without the horn coming out. Given what they've already shown, they'd just be weird. And then second, this is the not argument, but argument. I mean, from Ikimoto's perspective, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Of course. But like, let's be real. Why would he want to just get rid of the coolest part of the karma transformation, the freaking horn, and just say, oh yeah, he's at max power without the horn now, never gonna draw it again? Why? Why wouldn't you want to draw the horn? Especially since narratively, it's a good depiction of Kawaki doing being the Otsusuke killing Otsusuke thing. Like, wouldn't you want to draw the horn? Like, why wouldn't you? So I would drop the series, man, if they to get rid of the horn.
He put a lot of effort into the panels where the horn exists. So I'm like, I think he likes drawing it. So I think he would not continue with the
my thing is like the horn state is like just more power, and then you add that onto the fact that he just got his limiters removed. So that's just more power on top of power that he's already, now he's gaining more access to fight off against Jura. So that's just like, ooh, that's like a double.
So would you say maybe his limiters replaced after the Borishiki battle? Because like that final fight when he got the scar Boruto, like he didn't go into that horn state, if I recall correctly. I was always curious about that.
Yeah, I think
he was limited.
In the when Boruto was pretty much seeing what Momoshiki was seeing into his fragmented future. I think when you mentioned like that, I was also thinking about the horn state and him activating it again, but we never saw that for some reason.
Good point.
I was just like, huh. Even I was kind of questioning, can he activate that state again if he really wanted to? I was like, oh, maybe he can.
He should be able to, because regardless of what Amano did was just convert his offensive power into all defensive. So, I mean, that shouldn't even affect karma, but even if it does, all that should mean is that when he pulls the horn out, he should have a better defense and better healing. It would just mean that power is funneled towards healing. I don't see why it would limit the horn. I think he just didn't use it.
Yeah, I hope that isn't the case, because I really do hope that the horn is just, I don't know, if some part of me feels like the horn is part of maybe it's just a state in general, not like an offensive or defensive thing, but who knows.
I think it's just more of the Otsutsuki's chakra. Because, like, think about it this way. When Naruto used Kurama's chakra, the more chakra that overlaid his body, the more Kurama features he gets. First off, it's the nails and the eyes, the claws. Then he starts to get the ears and the red skin, and eventually he gets the 8 tail, and he's like a skinless fox and all that. He just gains more and more features. And seemingly it's working the same way with the Otsutsuki vessels. The more Otsutsuki chakra, the horn grows. So no matter what Amano does, you should still apply it. Just where that power is being funneled into would just change. First it was defense, now it's offense.
I think if they're going to keep the concept of the horn, then it needs to be shown in the next 2 to 3 chapters for sure. Otherwise, it's just going to be like kind of lost, I think, to memory.
I agree.
Yeah.
And so what you can definitely say though is in the first, so Kawaki only had 2 quote unquote fights before this, and he got beat before he ever ramped up to his final form anyway. Like against Jura, he gets beaten pretty much as soon as he just activated Karma. That fight didn't last long. Then against Boruto, he gets beaten at base, activates Karma, Boruto runs away. So he never ramped up to Karma 2 at any point. The only thing that sucks is, so now he's probably gonna have the chance to. What sucks though is now you're not getting a before and after of the limiters only with Karma 2 versus Karma 2, because now you're getting Karma 1 with limiters to probably Karma 2 without limiters, and it's like, okay, now you're adding an extra layer that wasn't there, so it's gonna make Kawaki's difference way more drastic than it actually is, which is kind of but whatever, it is what it is.
I think it's completely fine to phase out the horn. I'm not gonna say I hate it nearly as much as Kamui did, clearly. I think it's fine if they just like absorbed it in a base or whatever. Shout out Super Saiyan God, to where it's supposed to be at this point of the series, whenever, especially going towards the flash forward scene, the final fight, whatever that's gonna be. I feel like they're supposed to be accessing, controlling, harnessing a higher form of power, more like of a divine kind of being, entity, state, whatever. And to where I feel like it's similar to KCM, to where it's just clean, as opposed to the Nine Tails Rage form, which is monstrous, almost orc-ish, if you look at especially the Boruto movie and how Fuse Momoshiki looks there, almost like a freaking devil. So I feel like phasing out the horn, which is like more of an ugly thing, could work for like the main characters, and then you just have like other things be ugly, like Koji's eye roll, because he's not one of the main characters and he didn't access that higher form power.
That depends on what they're doing to make that happen, because as we know, Chiken didn't do that. Now I think Boruto doing what you're saying would make a lot of sense, but Kawaki is like that tricky one, because right now at least he's on that Otsutsuki path of power style thing. He's not doing the ninja-y way of things. So I feel like he would be a good character to be using the horn. Boruto doesn't have to, but Kawaki feels like a good person to be using it as of right now.
But at the same time, Sasuke
give you that, that arc going into that. That's fine, but they have to do that. As in just randomly doing it without saying a word, I'm not a huge fan, especially when it just was freaking cool, and as of right now would be more symbolic. So they have to add that layer if they're gonna do that.
And Sasuke was the last one standing in Shippuden. It wasn't part 1 Rage form Gaara, and Sasuke's like canonically the hottest character in all of Naruto. My point there is to say that clearly they're not just making him out to be this wrong, ugly character. He's just blind to a certain aspect of the controversy that him and Naruto are fighting over. I think it's going to be the same thing between Boruto and Kawaki.
That's fine. Like, I'm not saying Kawaki is the end the fight in his horn, but like Sasuke went into his freaking Biju Susanoo. Like, Kawaki can use his horn.
Yeah, but then I would just say that Naruto went into the Nine Tails avatar, and it's just as monstrous if you want to go that way.
Again, so Boruto can use his horn to be honest.
Yeah, but then that goes against the narrative of your saying of he's being the Shinobi, whereas Kawaki being the Otsutsuki, and I think he can be the Otsutsuki as long as he makes that his identity. He doesn't need to be the ugly, monstrous Otsutsuki.
No,
as long as he adopts
Otsutsuki mindset. But what I'm saying is, if he's gonna go from using the horn to not, then I think the story should present something that symbolically goes hand in hand with the lack of horn. Like, they should do something rather than just not doing it and nothing else changes. Like, they need to do the extra thing, is what I'm saying.
I think Kawaki evolving the Otsutsuki mindset would just be that in and of itself. They wouldn't need anything
Okay, but
beyond
he's
that.
got to evolve the Otsutsuki mindset. That's doing an extra layer.
But that wouldn't be like directly in the series in that same exact way that you're describing.
No,
In fact, it could have
wouldn't,
already
because
happened.
He would have a mindset that is an evolved Otsutsuki mindset. He doesn't have to say, I've evolved it. He would just have to have the mindset that we can figure out is the evolved Otsutsuki mindset.
Well, for example, you could argue that Sasuke has the evolved mindset of all the previous antagonists before him, but he's not saying, I've mastered Kakuzu's ideology.
It's a great thing. I just said that he doesn't have to say that. I don't know why you said that.
Okay, well, I'm glad you agree.
I did have a quick little question, maybe deviate a little bit, but stay on Kawaki. His little chakra rod bow staff thing. Any thoughts about like the psychology of the character? Like he just kind of shows up, he's using a weapon. Does he feel he's not strong enough? Does the weapon is some kind of additive property in terms of boosting him? Or from like a strategic standpoint, obviously, but also what does that say about the limiters and his current state of power if he feels he needs a weapon to boost himself? And then on top of that, the psychological aspect, is he trying to mirror his like brother and rival Boruto, who is now using his weapon, a blade, more so than usual, more so than part one? Or is it like what's the psychological thing with his tether to his like father figure Jigen as well? Any thoughts about that, or just Kimono just wants to get it out there? Yeah.
I definitely think either the Jigen or Boruto comparison would be really cool, but to address the kind of the most superficial answer would just be he was stabbing the eye because that's the eye Juro was charging up, and that was just what he was doing. That is probably one of the reasons at the very least.
Fair enough. That was my only question.
What does everyone else think?
I would say the bow staff and the bow staff thing. I don't know. I think
The thing he stabbed Juro's eye with.
what I was gonna say was I think that probably could be something that it is something that hints towards his evolution, but I think that something tells me that he's delving into this Jigen mindset now that he's acquired more power and he's able to go toe to toe with the top tier like Juro. So I don't know. That's a very interesting question. Like, what does this like now that he's now that he's has a new fit and he's pretty much has a bow staff and he pretty much can go toe to toe. Well, not. Oh God, I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know.
Well, I want you to think like, so one thing that really made that bow staff or like the chakra rod stand out really is because one, he has it in the flash forward scene, obviously. So we needed to get to that point where he was using it regularly, but also he was not using it at all at the start, like for the first 22 chapters. So it's almost like a fighting style shift that occurred almost. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe True Essence is kind of kicking in more with limiters removed or something of the sort. If you go back to like when he had the Horn State versus Boroshiki's like I Understand or something of the sort there. I don't know. It could be absolutely nothing and it's as simple as it was just a convenient thing. But seeing as how the flash forward scene showcases it, seeing as how that was not incorporating his fighting style at all prior to 23, and then like the tether to like Jigen's fighting style, and then also Boruto having a weapon as well. It's just kind of interesting. I thought it was maybe some kind of psychology there, something a little deeper, but I could be completely off.
Yeah, I think obviously next chapter they're probably gonna fight. So the things I would look for is how much like Jigen or Ishiki does he fight, because sure, he had similar moves in like the Code Arc, but his fighting style just wasn't the same. He wasn't throwing tiny rods and growing them on you when they hit you like Jigen was. He wasn't, doing the cool freaking lightsaber tricks with his staff like Jigen was. He wasn't doing all that stuff. So if he starts doing a lot of that sort of thing against Juro, that would definitely lead in that direction. If
Do you
he
not
adopts
think
a
he did that
completely
against
new
Juro?
fighting style, just like a third new thing, that is going to be a different interpretation. So it kind of just depends on exactly what he does. But
No, I think he's fighting like Jigen.
I expect him to more than ever before too. But like, we'll just have to really analyze what he does and see how close it is.
I mean, I think currently he is. Just straight up.
But we didn't see that much. I agree, based off what we did see, but we didn't see that much.
Okay, so as of now, he is fighting like Jigen?
As far as we can tell, yes. But I wouldn't say he was doing that prior to this chapter, really.
Do you think
'Cause
he
was
would
just
have?
like throwing big rods at people before, and he just used it as ninja tech arm and stuff. That's not fighting like Jigen.
Yeah. Well, what fights are you referring to? Are you referring to Two Blue Vortex or before that?
Two Blue Vortex.
Okay. Well, he hasn't
Kodark
really had any
one
Two Blue Vortex fight.
is closer, but it's still not exactly
Yeah.
the same as Jigen.
I agree. But what Two Blue Vortex
that's why
fights
I'm
are you
trying to make
fighting?
the distinction between kind of like Jigen and really like Jigen.
Okay. I don't think Kawaki's had a Two Blue Vortex fight.
Well, you had a quote-unquote fight, but it's not really a fight. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm not gonna
Yes.
count the Boruto one or the Juro one.
but it's enough to see what his go-to things were, as opposed to Jigen's go-to. The first thing he does to Naruto, throw tiny rods at him and grow him after he already hit him. That's the first thing Jigen does. That is his fighting style. Kawaki's first thing he does is not that, so it gives you an indication.
I mean, you could argue that's what he was doing against Hidari. We just didn't see.
I doubt it. Hidari can't see anything with his Rinnegan apparently, so apparently the Rinnegan are useless. But Immortal, it seems like you really wanted to talk about how strong Kawaki is compared to Code.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like he's way stronger than Code at this given point.
I agree. I don't think there's much to debate on.
Yeah.
Based on what we've seen, he just is probably stronger, at least by a little bit.
He
The
should
only
massacre him.
exactly. I would say
Like,
the only.
Mm.
I was gonna say the only thing that I would say Code can do to get way stronger than Kawaki is for him to eat that chakra fruit like he was foretold to do in chapter 56 or so he can become a brand new Otsutsuki and ascend to a godhood and just be able to utterly dominate the universe like Ishiki wanted.
Well, I definitely don't think that's the
No.
only way he can get stronger, but it definitely would be a good way.
I feel
Yeah.
like Code can pretty easily kill people who are stronger than him regardless. He's very
He
slithery
does have
like
a fighting style that does allow him to. The problem is Kawaki can shrink his claw marks, so it would really depend on where he's putting them. If he puts them in the back of Kawaki's neck in mid-fight, that's very useful. But are they gonna have Code do that, given what they don't have him do?
So
that.
it depends.
It's literally how he first met Kawaki in the Code arc.
Because I feel like
I
Kawaki
agree.
can just use.
So that's what he
Yeah.
wasn't gonna kill him, so that's why they did it.
Yeah, I feel like Kawaki can just use Sukuna Hikona to shrink himself, and maybe the claw mark. But that's if Code ends up getting shrinked too,
Ooh, that-
and just get. That's if Code ends up trying to go through the claw mark when Kawaki uses Sukuna Hikona, and it's just like.
That's even cooler.
That is
What would happen?
happen?
Does Code shrink and stay shrunk, or does he just get like cut in half?
I feel
Well,
like
I mean, even then though, it's not a long-term solution though, because let's just say he does shrink himself. No, I mean, is he just gonna stay small the whole fight? Because the moment he unshrinks, Coach just get to use it.
Yeah, he's just gonna stay as an ant the whole series.
like Code.
I'm down, Loki.
until Goat's dead, Kawaki stays tiny. That would be such. Okay, that is so stupid, but it's so funny. It would be hilarious. There's like a little running joke they do for like a couple arcs, and then then Code eventually will die, obviously, so that he can go back to normal before the Boruto fight. But like that would be really funny to at least play with for a little while.
Yeah.
Completely agree. So, unlike everyone else, I'm not just gonna immediately say that Kawaki's stronger than Code currently. I'm gonna entertain it, so okay. Let's look at what we did have. He in base in the Code arc was obviously way inferior to even base Code. And then Kawaki got his like Kawashiki thing, and then he's stronger than even a Karma Code. Okay, but then like in the anime, he was pretty handedly taking care of Borushiki, but in the manga, it was a lot more relative to the point that he's really only winning because of his abilities and because
Wait, I feel like in
Boruto's
the,
I
waking
thought it was
up.
the other way around.
I think it's the opposite. In the opposite, it's more relative. Like Borushiki actually gets more hits on Kawaki in the anime.
But then
I'm
in
talking about
manga-
Kawashiki in the Code
Yeah.
arc.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kawashiki. Yeah, Momoshiki actually gets
Kawashiki
more hits
versus
than Kawaki in
Borushiki.
the
I think
anime.
it's closer in the anime than the manga, from what I've heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it actually is because in the manga I reread the I reread like the chapter and it's just like Kawashiki just utterly dominates Borushiki. No
Look, I'm not
question.
gonna say he utterly dominated, but he was winning.
Yeah, he is
Yeah,
winning,
it's
but
actually
he's winning, but it's like we're seeing that Kawaki in his new state is just like pretty much not really manhandling, but he's handling Borishiki pretty damn well. And it
Like,
almost looks like
He's in control of the fight, but he's
There's
not.
a portion in the
man.
anime where like Momoshiki like gets like 4 hits on Kawaki, just from straight up boxing him. Like he gets.
I'm not gonna count it based on the number of hits.
Yeah, but you can't say that like but like you're still like wrong with that. It's the other way around.
in fact.
I mean, maybe I'm just misremembering it, but how I remember it, especially considering the anime is longer, it's a lot more clear that in one it's Kawaki's dominating, and the other it's a lot more close.
Yeah, I think the anime was.
Yeah, that would be the anime version. That would be the anime with the close one.
That would give it a reason to be longer. But going back and forth
Well, no,
Yeah.
if they're dominating, then it would make more sense to show the domination, but either way.
depends on how they do it. Either way would put theoretically work for that.
Luckily, I sent the pages in chat, but how the way you guys interpret it, that's up to you guys. I sent the pages in chat, so if you guys want to see it, go ahead.
Yeah. So, the thing is, we'll just say for now that he's a little bit stronger in both interpretations, both canon. He's maybe kind of relative, but he's just stronger than Borishiki. He's probably like physically relative, but like with this ability, he's just way stronger. And if Boruto was never waking up, it'd be a lot closer of a fight, though I do think eventually Kawaki would win, especially considering he's still figuring out how his abilities. So over time, he would just get stronger. Anyways, in the code arc, it
that's why Momoshiki
feels...
didn't want to fight Kawaki again.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said
Considering
rather not fight
Naruto
them.
and Sasuke are like stated to be kind of close to Code. Code's really dangerous to them or whatever. And then so then you have Kawashiki dominating Code, and then if Borishiki is on that caliber as well. But then it's weird because Borishiki just get way stronger because in the Ishiki arc, one arc prior, like 2 weeks ago in canon or whatever, it's like Deathbed Sasuke is doing pretty well against Borishiki there.
At the very least, well, just did objectively get a lot stronger because, well, besides the fact that in one case, he can't absorb jutsu, he can't use many jutsu, and the other case, he's spamming master Rasenkans and absorbing jutsu willy-nilly, doesn't matter, I guess. But ignoring that, I think it's just speed features would dictate him being faster because, again, he's Code's trying to go through the claw marks and Borishiki shoots him and blitzes and kicks him in the face. He's fighting Kawaki at this point. And if Code is supposed to be anywhere near Pat Sage Mode Naruto, I mean, Code should do better than Delta, who even if she's not equal to Naruto, she did fight him. She fought him in that full form. So Code should only do better. And if Borishiki's just blitzing, kicking him in the face and stuff, then he should just be at least that full power Naruto level, which is not, Renegon-less Heart Sasuke level, So he just has to be stronger in the Code arc than the Kawaki arc. He just has
That's
to be.
so weird to me, considering how close those two are next to one another. The fact
agree.
that Boruto ripped his horn off, the fact he's using the Byakugan suppressant pills.
So I agree. The
Also-
only real
Yeah, go ahead.
explanation you can give that doesn't seem completely stupid is just in the Kawaki arc fight, Boruto is out of chakra. He just didn't have chakra. Whereas in the Code arc, he took over while Boruto still had ample chakra, and that could be the difference. But the difference is much more massive than the amount of chakra Boruto had. Is the difference. So
I'm sorry,
and
were you
his
saying that?
extraction rate is literally 2% difference. It was 80 to 82. I don't think that's the
Yeah.
difference.
Exactly. So were you saying he had chakra in the Ishiki arc, whereas he had none in the Code arc, or lower?
Other way around.
I think it is that way though, because he just passed out versus Ishiki. He just used the teleportation. He wasn't really spamming jutsus against Ishiki. Whereas in the Code fight, he was fighting Code, with his karma and everything.
He was using Moboshiki's chakra via karma for one thing, but ignoring that,
I think that should
Boruto
drain
wasn't
force.
gassed out when he had the heart attack. So we know he still had gas in the tank. And whereas, yes, with Ishiki, he kind of just passed out. They made it a point to say, like, Sasuke's whole theory was centered around the fact that Boruto was low on chakra and fell unconscious. And so if we give him back some chakra, he might regain control. That was the whole basis of the theory. Nothing indicates he was wrong in terms of this arc's fight. His plan worked.
So,
Yeah.
but and then in the code arc, you know, again, Boruto still had chakra. Momoshiki took over. He's absorbing jutsu, not losing control. Clearly, that doesn't matter right now. So I think he just had more Boruto's chakra, and that just had a big difference. So right now, like, you know, like Jigen, with Jigen, not Ishiki, but Jigen's stamina was low. He's in combat too, and Koji's able to like perceive him and do jutsu according to his plan. Whereas we can presume that when Jigen was, you know, kicking through Sasuke Susanoo and blitzing Naruto and Sasuke, Koji probably couldn't fight the same way against that Jigen. The only difference there isn't Ishiki's chakra reserve. He's got a shitload of it. It's really Jigen's stamina. So based off what we see with Jigen, you can apply that to Boruto to explain the massive power gap. You know, as for why Boruto's, you give me your best theory as far as Boruto's waking upness, because he has chakra when he gets taken over in the code arc, and then he just randomly wakes up later. I don't know why.
Unlike the Boro
that might be
instance.
actually, I don't want to think of it. That might be a good example of plot convenience right there. He just woke up and nobody knows why.
Well, but there's no reason for him to even be asleep other than Momoshiki possessed him, but that doesn't mean he's asleep. Other instances, like the Boro instance, he was knocked out. The Ishiki instance, he fell unconscious. Here,
Yeah.
Momoshiki just took over randomly.
Exactly.
Why was he
So
asleep?
You know, like Boruto heart attack is equal as before, you know, it's equally as heart attack or not heart attack. It just happened. So yeah, I don't know why he woke up in the code arc, because it's not like Momoshiki didn't get pinned by the rods first. Boruto started waking up, and that's when Kawaki hit him with the rods. So I don't know why he woke up. He just did. It's kind of plot convenient. I think that's a good example.
But either way, we have Borushiki versus Sasuke in the Ishiki arc, and clearly Sasuke didn't want to, even if he was willing to, kill Boruto there. He was doing the chakra plan or whatever. That could imply that he just couldn't take out Borushiki, but I think physically he could, is what he's implying after the fight anyways. But either way, that you also have, on the same terms there, you have Borushiki didn't want to kill Kawaki, which is why he absorbed his chakra in the first place. I think that still applies to this code arc fight. He's not trying to kill Kawaki, whereas Kawaki's trying to kill him.
Then,
You could argue something there.
well,
Yeah.
Okay, but I don't think that's gonna be the explanation for Momoshiki's power increase.
What I'm saying is it's possible that Momoshiki didn't get a power increase because they never defeated Momoshiki in the Ishiki arc. So maybe he just was stronger than we realized back then.
That's entirely possible. You gotta ask, okay, but if he was this strong, why was he so weary of Sasuke? Like, I get he's weary because he's fought him before and he knows he's smart and he knows he's strong, but like,
Yeah,
if he's
this isn't-
strong, he doesn't need to be that weary.
Whereas
Yeah,
he
this
was
is a
weary,
nerf
he was also
Sasuke.
kind of playing around. Well, okay, I do have a fun interpretation. Like you just said, he knows he's smart. Sasuke isn't a threat because he can defeat him. Sasuke's a threat because he can figure out Borushiki's weakness, aka give him chakra, Boruto wakes up, you defeated Momoshiki. So Sasuke is a threat to Borushiki in that regard.
Okay, I agree with that. But like, but hypothetically, if Momoshiki can't just blitz with the kunai, that's a good way to get rid of that threat.
You might kind of cut out a little bit, Colin.
I'll just restate. So like, I agree with what you're saying. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. So I agree with what you're saying, Lee. But like, hypothetically, if Momoshiki can just blitz Sasuke, why not just blitz Sasuke with the kunai to the throat? Because that's gonna get rid of that smart, dangerous threat either way.
Especially because this Sasuke was actually like falling over himself in the manga. In the anime, he seems to be in better condition, but he tripped over himself.
Yeah. So the other explanation could be that Code was just weaker than we thought in the Code arc, where he was just pretty handedly below Naruto and Sasuke, and to where Borushiki and Kawashiki just rise up to about Naruto and Sasuke's level, rather than
That is
surpassing.
definitely possible, but the question is, are we just gonna say that Delta was way below Naruto in that case? How below Naruto are we gonna say?
Could be similar to a Boro, to where it's Code's abilities that really put him on that level, rather than anything else.
I agree, it could be, but they really emphasized his power is the thing. So that tells me his power should be part of the equation. Unlike
Did they emphasize power?
Yeah.
In what way?
Kawaki and Amado were really emphasizing how strong Code was and how he's fast and strong.
Oh no, I meant sorry, I was thinking about Sasuke. That Momoshiki versus Sasuke fight, like after he stabbed his eye out.
But what about
Sorry,
that?
I was just curious because I think a lot of the time when you have like a weaker character, I'm thinking like Tobirama versus like Jubi Obito, where like if you're like sufficiently like intelligent and skilled, it can kind of bridge the gap a little bit, so it might not be like power based. But if you're telling me that, then that's a completely different thing. But, yeah.
Well, I was talking about Code just now, so they weren't emphasizing how fast or strong Borushiki was in that fight now.
I got you.
I don't know about bridge the gap, because whereas I agree it bridges the gap, but it doesn't completely overcome the gap entirely. If Tobirama's not an Edo Tensei, which is realistically the threat against Jubito, before he got the permanent Truth Seeker orbs or whatever, he's just gonna continually come back. So it doesn't matter if Jubito speed blitz one-shots, bisects him in half with his Truth Seeker. It's not gonna do anything. As long as Tobirama can hurt Jubito, eventually if the fight drags on long enough, Tobirama's just gonna win because he's an Edo Tensei. Is at least that.
I was gonna say, thank you, Darashikage, for subscribing to the channel. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Nice.
Everyone else go subscribe to Immortal's channel as well. Link in the description below. He's starting his new podcast. Fricker.
While you're at it, also subscribe to us and Mello and Free Game and whoever else. Saran, if he's got anything to
Yeah,
subscribe.
go follow him on Twitter.
No, I've got nothing. Follow my Twitter.
Okay.
Oh, okay, but anyway, so back to my analysis here. So if we are saying, I don't know, maybe it's weird, maybe this is also nerfed Naruto and Sasuke, so maybe Code is like relative to them, but like full power Naruto and Sasuke is stronger than them if we're going with that. And then,
Again, are nerfed Naruto and Sasuke relative to Delta?
No.
well, nerfed Naruto and Sasuke aren't relative to full power Naruto and Sasuke.
Maybe they are together. Like maybe
Or-
they're as strong together as their original selves individually.
Or nerfed Naruto and Sasuke.
Because my
The
point
ones
is,
without the
this
eye
story-
and the chroma.
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
versus Delta. Because
They
the
shouldn't
story
be able
really tried to emphasize
either.
very hard that limited Code was still stronger than Delta. Whether you think it's because of his abilities or his power, whatever, overall, he was meant to be stronger than Delta, as well as Boruto.
The implication is his power, not really. I don't think it's I don't think they're
They
relative
only
to ability.
emphasize his power, not his abilities, although yes, he has very high abilities, but they were really emphasizing his power. He's supposed to be stronger than Delta, with the limiters on.
I don't know how that Naruto is beating Delta. If she was pressing 6-pass Sage mode Naruto, like he was huffing and
Right,
puffing
so
and
then
stuff.
he shouldn't be relative to Code, either.
I mean, there's some context to that fight for sure, but yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't she?
I mean,
I know some
And then
people.
also, that would be
Naruto
based
got
on
his-
the premise that you're correct, that the story was trying to imply the thing that you're saying about Code. But if so,
Well, I
then
mean- reread the Code arc, let me know what you think.
Naruto
Okay.
does have his age of
Well,
wisdom,
Tommy,
man.
some people make this argument that like because Code took Shikamaru as a hostage when Naruto appeared, that means that like he thought that Naruto could push him to an extent to where he would actually give him a very great challenge, which is why he had the hostage. I think I've heard Kinomaki say that in the past.
I've heard a lot of people say that they're just wrong.
They're
He
just
did that
wrong,
because of
yeah.
Borushiki. It got Borushiki
Yeah.
to stop trying to kill him. That's why he did it.
Yeah, and then I do think Naruto being a threat was a factor. I just think that the Borushiki thing was the main thing that caused him. He needed to find some type of leverage. And even if that was the case, wasn't that Code had just taken an injury like through his shoulder? He got pressed by Boruto. So
Well, he did.
Don't do it. Don't do it, Goblin.
Well, no, I have to. Saran, you're right. He did get a hole in his shoulder. Until the
Yeah,
next
it
page,
does
when
disappear.
That hole was
Yeah,
gone
it does
and never to be
disappear.
seen again.
yes, and like there's no holes in his clothes either. His clothes were generated.
Even though he doesn't have regeneration.
I mean, even if he did have regeneration, that doesn't explain the clothes. So
Well, to be fair, Naruto's clothes do that, so I don't know.
wait, they do indeed do that, don't they?
So I don't know how
Except for
clothes
when they-
regen
except
works,
for when
but
they
regardless, Code doesn't have regen.
Are we gonna say that Code able to turn his fingers into spikes is because of the claw mark Shinjutsu or because of scientific ninja tech?
So
I
we
think
don't
that's a
know for
scientific
sure,
ninja tech.
obviously, but a lot of people would say ninja tech. But the thing is, they're clearly heavily associated with the claw marks themselves, because he always consistently makes his big claws. Half the time he scratches with them to make claw marks. If they were just completely separate abilities, why does he need to do that?
None of this could just be an inconsistency for artistic purposes, but like none of the Shinju do that, so it's like.
Well, Hidari's using his Rinnegan, man. I don't know. Like,
So, I don't know.
I don't know what's up.
Like-
I don't understand the Shinju's ability.
But like Ko doesn't always scratch though. Sometimes he does oftentimes do that though. Usually I think it's for ground placements. He scratches the floor.
But sometimes,
or to implant them on trees and stuff, he just tosses them, I think.
sometimes he swipes in the air. Sometimes he like just curls his finger. Sometimes he does nothing. But all but maybe one scene. There is one scene I have to double check. But all but maybe that one scene, he has always made the big claws. The only scene he might not have is when he like slapped a bug in the face with a claw mark. I don't know what his hands look like there.
To be fair, whenever Code wants to do this, I feel like he would be getting serious for a fight or whatever. So I feel like it's
Yes,
fair
he's
to let
not-
him kind of do
he's
so.
once been drawn.
He's not doing it for a fight.
Well, just as an example, is there any scene of Naruto using KCN where he doesn't also use Rasengan?
Yeah.
Okay, continue.
Bro, what kind of question was that? That was crazy.
You get the idea, though. Like, you can't just associate the two because Naruto uses them both in fight.
Well, you can because he like the claw marks, and he has claws, and he keeps doing the claws when he uses claw marks.
To be fair, the claw marks make no sense as a name for the belts.
Belt marks. The belt marks.
Wait, you're right. Even in the anime, to hit Kawaki with he actually does form a claw.
Yeah, you can't see Code's hands when he slaps Bug with one, so I don't know. His hands are just off panel, so who knows what they look like.
If
Like
you like,
one hand, the anime literally demonstrates that like he has one hand drawn with the claw and the other one is normal, and it's the one that he's using to place the claw marks. Is there other
Could have
something
been
that can
threatening Kawaki. I'm gonna kill you,
Yeah,
Kawaki.
Okay, well,
he-
what do you
he
think
is
about when
actually
he
doing
makes his
that.
claws when he's just doing the 10 tails clawgram stuff?
Could be scaring the Tindals. You better listen to me, you claw grimes,
He's
you.
not doing that.
You better listen to me, Carl Grimes, you.